At least 35,000 home buyers are stuck in the Jaypee's Wish Town project in Sector 128 in Noida. Their homes have been delayed by 8 years. Buyers allege that even the police have refused to lodge or file FIRs against this developer, saying it's not a criminal offence. Our reporter Deepa Rana caught up with these home buyers and we asked them how they've managed to get through the last 8 years.
My dreams has been shattered when I didn't get possession. It was supposed to be given in 2014, but it has been more than 2 years that after 2014 I have not received possession, and whenever I'm sending the mail or calling them on customer care, I'm not getting the satisfactory response. In fact, for the last 1 year I have not received the communication through, they are not responding my emails also.
मैंने क्यूब प्रोजेक्ट में इन्वेस्ट किया था 2011 मार्च 2011 में. इसमें करीब 800 लोगों ने इन्वेस्ट किया है. उस वक्त इन्होंने 36 मंथ का पोजीशन टाइम दिया था. नहीं, मार्च 2011 मीन्स 36 मार्च 2014 में पोजीशन हो जाना था. पर अभी तक ये प्रोजेक्ट का 20% काम भी कंप्लीट नहीं हुआ है. एल&टी इसका कंस्ट्रक्शन कर रहा था. मार्च 2014 में एल&टी यहाँ का कंस्ट्रक्शन का काम छोड़ के चला गया क्योंकि जेपी ने उसको कोई पैसा नहीं दिया. और हम लोग जेपी से कंटिन्यूसली फॉलोअप कर रहे हैं. वो कोई जवाब नहीं दे रहे कि कब देंगे, कब ये पोजीशन होगा, कब ये बनेगा. और उन्होंने हमसे 95% पेमेंट ले लिया है और मेरा EMI 60,000 का EMI जा रहा है और मैं किराए पे अपना मकान का पैसा दे रहा हूँ. मैं एक सैलरीड एम्प्लॉय हूँ. इसके बाद मेरे पास जो मेरे को सैलरी होती है उससे मेरे को कुछ बचता नहीं है. टोटल 35,000 फ्लैट बायर्स हैं जिनका पैसा वो लेके 95% पेमेंट लेके बैठा है, जो कि हम लोग अगर ऑन एन एवरेज 50 लाख रुपया पर फ्लैट भी लगाएं तो 17,000 करोड़ रुपए का गबन वो कर चुका है.
Have you approached the local police or the local CM over here? What sort of a response have you got from the authorities also?
मैडम, ये सिमिलर लेटर जो हमारे ऑनरेबल प्राइम मिनिस्टर को भेजा, वही लेटर हमने ऑनरेबल मुख्यमंत्री उत्तर प्रदेश मिस्टर अखिलेश यादव को भी भेजा है और लोकल DM को, लोकल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन DM को भी दिया है और वेरियस मिनिस्टर्स, अर्बन डेवलपमेंट मिनिस्ट्री को भी लेटर ये दिया है. हमारे यहाँ पे जो एजिटेटर्स का जो ग्रुप है, उनके जो लीडर हैं, वो हम लोगों को जो कोऑर्डिनेट कर रहे हैं, उसमें उन्होंने लोकल पुलिस में भी कंप्लेन किया तो लोकल पुलिस ने भी कंप्लेन करने से मना कर दिया. कहता है कि ये क्राइम नहीं है, कोई मतलब ये कोई क्रिमिनल केस नहीं है.
Concern is that I have booked on 2012 and they were supposed to give me in 36 months and it has been passed. Right now it's 2016, so it has been more than 4 years going to be happen. So it's not about the infrastructure thing. Timely giving the thing is the main thing, because I'm paying my rent also nearly 30,000 I'm paying for as a rent and I'm paying 35,000 as a EMI, so which it's a major setback and major finance crunching for.
Sir, right now if you go to the site, what is on the site? Is the construction at all happening or even the construction has been stalled?
I have been visiting it on the weekends quite oftenly, but there is no construction going on. I couldn't able to see any labours over there.
Well, right at the onset of this conversation, let me tell our viewers that we attempted to get in touch with the Jaypee Group and its management. We've received absolutely no response from the company. We're going to continue to demand some sort of response from the company on behalf of all of those home buyers. Now, this company is known for its larger-than-life advertisements, its offers that you see on television screens, but it's completely failed to deliver homes to thousands of home buyers. We demand to know why the Jaypee Group has let down its home buyers, all of those who've invested money in their dream home. As per sources, there were about 40,000 homes that were being constructed. 35,000 have not been handed over. Home buyers allege nearly 40 different projects are stuck in limbo. The home buyers who spoke to us allege the company cheated them. And when they attempted to reach out to the company, despite paying nearly 95% of the cost, they get absolutely no response from the developer. Like I said, we tried to get in touch with the company as well, and we haven't received any response. Joining me on the show tonight, Uday Wavikar, Vice President of the Consumer Court Bar Association, Maharashtra and Goa, who's been fighting relentlessly on issues of consumers as far as real estate is concerned. Mohit Bhansali is an advocate at the High Court as well, who's also represented consumers. And home buyers, Ashok Kumar and Pankaj Gupta, both of whom have bought homes at Jaypee Wish Town. Ashok Kumar, I'm going to start with you. Tell us what your experience has been so far with Jaypee. What have you heard from the company when you got in touch with them?
जेपी ग्रुप कभी बहुत रेप्यूटेड नाम माना जाता था. 2011 में इनका नाम टॉप इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर कंपनी के रूप में आता था. तो मैंने 2011 में सोचा कि मैं भी अपना एक घर बुक करूं उस टाइम दूसरे बिल्डर के जितने रेट थे वो करीब 2800 रुपये पर स्क्वायर फीट ऑल इंक्लूसिव थे, वेयर जेपी के जो रेट वो करीब 3500 रुपये पर स्क्वायर फीट थे। फिर भी हमने जेपी में ये सोच के बुक किया कि हमको एक क्वालिटी प्रोडक्ट टाइम पे मिलेगा और एक अच्छा बिल्डर का प्रोडक्ट होगा, ब्रांड नेम होगा। पर उसके बाद हमने जब देखा कि ये 3 साल के अंदर बुकिंग होने के 3 साल के अंदर इसका पोजीशन मिलना था, वहाँ पे जेपी ने शुरुआत से ही लगता है धोखाधड़ी का काम किया। जैसे कि क्यूब प्रोजेक्ट है, 2011 में इन्होंने बुक किया, इन्होंने बोला 3 साल यानी कि 2014 में पोजीशन मिल जाएगा। पर अभी मैंने एक आरटीआई के थ्रू रिप्लाई मंगाया है, उससे पता चला कि इन्होंने लोकल अथॉरिटी नोएडा अथॉरिटी से इस प्रोजेक्ट की परमिशन 2013 में ली है, ना कि 2011 में। तो यानी कि इन्होंने जो पोजीशन का टाइम 36 मंथ दिया था 2011 से, वो गलत था।
Okay, so let me take this piece by piece. You had bought a home in 2011 with a 36-month possession date. Mohit Bhansali, this is the question here. Can this qualify then as cheating? Because I want our viewers to understand the difference. In order to prove a case of cheating, there has to be the ability to prove that there was always an intent, a malified intent to cheat the customer. Here, if the permission to build was not available for the first 2 years, then obviously the developer could not have possibly made that date of 36 months. Can there be a case of cheating here?
I must say that the cheating is basically depends on 3 facts. First, like 2011 the flat was booked. Now question comes, how much amount is being paid by the buyers? First of all. Second, now as under RTI the flat buyers have got the information that 2013 the builder has got the permission. Now what happens in these 2 years? Why the builders kept on asking for the money? And this conduct is clearly intent that he was aware he don't have the permission, he cannot take the money from the flat buyers, and despite of knowledge if he has taken, it's a clear-cut case of cheating.
It is a clear-cut case
Yes.
of cheating. So would you recommend going in and filing an FIR then?
Yes, if that is the case, definitely yes.
अशोक कुमार जी, आप बताइए कि आपने FIR फाइल किया है?
मैंने इंडिविजुअल लेवल पे तो ये एक्शन नहीं लिया, परंतु यहाँ पे जितने भी जेपी के इस टाइम 35,000 लोग हैं जिन्होंने इसमें सफ़र कर रहे हैं, हमने ग्रुप के फॉर्म में FIR करने की कोशिश की थी। 10 जून को जेपी ऑफिस के सामने बायर इकट्ठे हुए थे, उन्होंने एजिटेशन किया था, वहाँ पुलिस इकट्ठा हो गई थी। पुलिस अपने एक्शन के लिए तैयार थी, बायर के ऊपर एक्शन लेने के लिए। तो बायर ने कहा, हाथ जोड़ के कहा कि हम यहाँ पे शांतिपूर्वक एक अपना बात रखने के लिए इकट्ठा हुए, आप हमारी FIR कीजिए। तो पुलिस कहती है आप हमारे थाने आइए। थाने जब लोग गए तो कहते हैं कि ये कोई क्रिमिनल ऑफेंस नहीं है, हम इसकी कोई FIR नहीं करेंगे, जैसा कि हमारे नेताओं को, हमारे जो कोऑर्डिनेटर्स को उन्होंने बताया।
This is not a criminal offence. We will not file an FIR. And you know, Uday Wavikar, this is the sort of behavior that really upsets me about the police, and we have to come out and talk about it. The fact that when there are home buyers suffering in this manner, Mohit just told us that there's definitely a case here for cheating. When the police turns around and sends these people home saying we are not going to file an FIR because this doesn't qualify as a case, go sort it out on your own or go sort it out in the civil courts, that's completely unfair. Now, we know that in Maharashtra, at least, the DIG has come forward and instructed the police to file FIRs. But what happens in places like Gurgaon and Noida, where this problem is so rampant? The police should not be allowed to get away with things like this.
Faye, I 100% agree with you, because it's a clear-cut case under 420. Apart from 420, they can also file a case under the economic offences, because ultimately it is an unscrupulous exploitation, a very clear cut of case of cheating. They knew very well the project was not sanctioned, yet the project was marketed, the project was sold, and till date the possessions are not given. But let us come to our brass tag and facts of the life. Even in Maharashtra, after circular, today if you and me go, it's not easy to file an FIR. So, leave alone the Noida's case, and the police is saying no criminal offence. How can they decide? There is a way out. The way out is that they have to immediately lodge a complaint to that police station, go to DYSP, lodge a complaint to DYSP that FIR is not lodged, lodge a complaint to Commissioner of Police simultaneously that FIR is not lodged, and after these 3 letters, an acknowledgement of these 3 letters, and this is for all buyers, if the FIR is not lodged, then file a private complaint in the respective court, which is a metropolitan magistrate, saying that, look, we have followed this process, FIR has not been lodged, and therefore investigation orders must be given to the police.
And the court will then issue an
immediately issue investigation order. So therefore, there is a process which has an alternative under judicial process, but we have to take proper expert advice locally and I think follow up, and that will build in pressure. But more better option, as I always say, is a class action petition for this buyers for consumer court. Also approach the governmental authorities, because if this project could be taken over by somebody in joint venture, or the people can gather together and take over the project, with the loans sanctioned by various financial institutions, I think still the project can be handled.
Completed. Okay, so अशोक जी, मैं ये जो एडवाइस मिल रही है आपको कि अगर आपको एफआईआर दर्ज करना है तो आप एक खत लिख लीजिए डेप्यूटी सुपरिटेंडेंट ऑफ पुलिस को, दूसरा एक खत लिख लीजिए कमिश्नर ऑफ पुलिस को, और अगर फिर भी आपका एफआईआर दर्ज नहीं हुआ तो फिर आप मैजिस्ट्रेट के कोर्ट में कंप्लेन कर सकते हैं. Mohit, you want to add something?
There are two ways. I am completely agree with Mr. Wavikar. Another way in the administrative law, that if a superior authority you have written and he won't take a complaint and take action against the junior officers, so you have the remedy. Directly write a letter, a single letter or a form of writ petition to the Honorable High Court, wherever which constituency you are there, and make a grievance, annex the copy which you have sent to the senior officers. Immediately the High Court has got a power to take a suo motu action as well as action on based on your writ petition.
What is suo motu action?
Yes,
what does that mean?
Suo motu action, that if a question of public at large is involved, like 35 flat buyers are involved here.
35,000 flat buyers.
Sorry,
that is really public at large,
yes,
in this case.
Yes. So they have to take a cognizance of it as to when the flat buyers are suffering at the end of a builder. So where should they go if the public authorities are not helping them out? So they have to take action against the errant officers why the FIR is not lost.
और अशोक जी, आप मुझे बताइए, आपने चीफ मिनिस्टर को खत लिखा है, आपने प्राइम मिनिस्टर को खत लिखा है, आपको कोई जवाब मिली?
ये लेटर अभी हमने 3-4 दिन पहले लिखा है. अभी हम वी एक्सपेक्ट कि कुछ ना कुछ तो रिप्लाई आएगा ही.
No responses so far. I also want to ask Pankaj which project he bought a home in, and what sort of action have you taken so far, Pankaj, as an aggrieved home buyer?
Yeah, I booked my apartment in 2010.
Okay.
And I paid full amount, 90% amount in 2010 itself. I am paying full EMI from 2011. And from 2014 August 30th, now it is being 2 years, I am following up them continuously almost every weekend. And we are going there every weekend. And Jaypee has no response. They clearly say they don't have money. They don't have plan for building. They don't have plan to give it to us. Show us what is their plan, how they will complete overall buildings. And they even don't want to talk to us. They take lot of resistance. We have to bring 100 people together, fight with them to talk to us, bring them on table, and then they will come out. They will talk to us in presence of police. They even don't talk to us like a gentleman. We have paid our hard-earned money. And they will not talk to us like on the table, because the day we were buying home, they were sitting on the table. Today they don't come down. And then my personal life is miserable. I am paying rent, I am paying EMI. I do not know what to do. Every weekend we have to go Jaypee Wish Town to see where is construction going on. Construction is totally stopped from last 2 years. Jaypee is saying that they are selling their assets and they will do something for us, but it seems that they are just adjusting their existing debt which belongs to their other businesses. They are not bringing down money to our Wish Town where we have booked our apartment. Now,
what is the level of completion? 1 second, Pankaj, your particular apartment or your building, at what level of completion is it at right now? Sushil Kaushik, who is also an advocate in Delhi, joins us on the conversation right now. Go ahead, Pankaj.
Yeah, they completed their structure very fast. If you see, the completion of structure is linked with the payment of money. The day they complete top floor, they collect whole 90% of from the buyer. From the day they have completed top floor, they have stopped whole construction. It has been 2 years. I am writing them email almost every 2 week. When you are going to start construction, they have no response.
How much work is left on your building? Pankaj, how much work is left on your building? Is it 5%, 10%?
It is only structure standing, no brick work done. So I see if they start work now also, it will take 2 to 3 years to complete.
It will take 2 to 3 years to complete. Okay. You know, we should all realize this, that the consolidated, that this particular company, which is the real estate arm of Jaypee, is owned by the Jaiprakash Associates company. The consolidated debt of the parent company on March 2016 was 58,250 crore rupees. This is how much the parent company of Jaypee Greens has in consolidated debt on its books right now. It is, of course, no secret that Jaypee as a real estate company has completely run out of cash and they're completely neck deep in debt right now. They're trying very hard to sell land assets in the NCR, but the NCR is a difficult market to sell from what we understand. We've spoken to several consultants who tell us that there are land parcels that the company is trying to sell in the NCR region that they have not managed to sell successfully. But even if they do manage to sell, the parent company has massive amounts of debt, like Pankaj was telling us, that's going to have to be handled first. Uday Wavikar, in these cases, and this is the conundrum really for a buyer like Pankaj, on one hand, and this is the thing that we should worry about, he's paid 90% of the money in 2010. And he has been waiting for so long. He's been waiting for 5 years since he parted with all of that money. Secondly, there's no intention, or we're seeing absolutely no communication from the developer in how he's going to complete that building and when he's going to get it done. So the question is, Pankaj, do you want to bring the developer to task and, bring the developer to the book for cheating you at this case, or do you just want your home? Because these are two completely different legal, options for you, and you really should carefully choose what you want to do.
Let him finish.
Yeah.
Go on, Pankaj.
Go on, Pankaj.
Yeah, my first question to them is, where is my money? When I paid you 90%, where have you kept my money? Is it in your account or you have spent it somewhere else? Please tell me. They have no answer for it.
But they've obviously spent it somewhere else, Pankaj. I mean, I'd like for the developer to give you that answer, but it's obvious for all to see that the money that was paid must have been diverted because it's not available to finish the building that you bought.
They have diverted to construction of their highway from Greater Noida to Agra. It is clear. They have admitted that.
So, Pankaj, what is it that you want at this point? Do you want your home to be delivered to you?
Yes.
Or
we want our home to be delivered immediately, or we want compensation in terms of EMI, what we are paying. We want Jaypee to compensate in that case. If they don't want to construct our home for next 10 years, they start paying our EMI. We should be free from our worries. Why should we be in worries when we have taken loan and they are enjoying our money? They should come. We also offer them that you come down, you tell us, we'll pay more money and we'll complete our tower and we should shift our home. But they are not listening. They just want to go with their own plans.
Uday Wavikar, it's a very, very fair ask. Why should a customer who's taken a loan, who's paid all his EMIs on time, why should he have to suffer for bad business decisions that a company like Jaypee has taken? Because this is nothing but bad business decisions. You over-leveraged, you borrowed too much, you launched too many projects, you were not able to finish them, you moved the money about and you caught a bad market. These are a series of bad business decisions which are not Pankaj's or Ashok's fault or any of the other 35,000 buyers. It is not their fault.
It is very serious and there is absolutely mismanagement of the company. They have also indulged in unfair trade practices. And there is a great deficiency of service. I am talking in language of a consumer. Now going forward, they must immediately file. They should have filed much earlier the cases. They must file the case class action petition before the Honorable National Commission with an interim relief, not to create third parties' interest on those properties at least. Because I am really scared
That some of the lenders will now
lenders
take
will
possession.
come, there will be a liquidation petition and all these assets will go to liquidation, and the buyers will have real tough time then. They'll have to join in High Court as a liquidator, and if they are sundry debtors, so they'll be last on the priority of the payments. If they file in Consumer Court now also, and if they get the orders, at least they will have the first priority as a decree holder to get their money back. So swift action is what is required because they waited too long and too far. So therefore, first thing is to file a class action petition, move for interim relief, not to create third-party interest by the company, safeguard. Second issue is maybe on the simultaneously they can move to various authorities of Noida, including the government of Noida, including Chief Minister of Noida, that whether this project could be taken over by a financial institute or Delhi Development Authority, or it can be jointly done with some other builder who can come forward at this time to keep in the shoes of JP and pay all the loans. And when the people are ready to restructure, there are provisions where people can take over the project on themselves and go ahead if entire money of the project has been paid and get the court orders. So these various aspects will have to be looked, but immediate consumer class action petition is required so that at least the properties can be safeguarded for the purpose of their ashiana, which is their home, which was a dream home, and they want to go back there, number one. Right. Number two is also an alternate flat in the same locality or refund with the interest.
So he's asking very clearly, Uday Wavikar, he's asking very clearly that even if JP wants to take the next 10 years to finish his project, which is what Pankaj just said, pay my EMIs till then, so that he doesn't have to pay the EMI. It gives the buyer the stamina to wait longer. Because it's obvious that the wait is not going to be over. These homes are not going to be made available. And 35,000 homes, there's no alternative at this point. Nobody has that kind of inventory to sort of offer that as an alternative. So these buyers are going to have to wait. So what is the possibility that Consumer Court might award the payment of their EMIs as a compensation?
See, rents are allowed by the Consumer Court so far, because if the project is not complete in time and if the person is on the rents are allowed. We can definitely try for EMI, because ultimately EMI is going for the similar purpose. So far there is no order, but I think it is a fair and reasonable proposition to move for an interim relief before the National Commission or whichever authority they file in consumer, and they can get an interim relief, because there are two ways. Let me tell you frankly, as far as EMI is concerned, rent one can understand, because I did not get the house, I have to pay the rent. But it is not because I did not get the house, I have to pay EMI. You have to in any way pay the EMI.
Right.
And therefore the court might say it is your loan, you are liable to pay. Tomorrow the benefits of the loan you are going to get. So why should the builder pay the EMI? Because if he has delayed the project, that doesn't mean you are saving. If you are asking rent, that is different. So therefore they have a chance. But I cannot assure that 100% Consumer Court will allow them to pay the EMI.
They would also be, assuming a watertight contract between the bank and the borrower.
That's true.
That says that even if the possession is not given, you are still liable to pay the EMIs.
Correct. And that is the position.
And that is the position,
and builder will say, I have not asked them to take the loan. Where is the agreement of me providing the loan? That is their problem. So therefore, the wicket is not very good for them. But if are they asking the rent, alternate rent for the similar thing, they will definitely get, and there are orders.
But beyond the committed schedule, completion schedule, builders should take the responsibility of paying the EMI. We are not running away from paying the EMI. We are ready to pay. But beyond the completion schedule, why should we pay? Just like for 2 years, I am paying EMI of 60,000. Just imagine.
All right, let me bring in Sushil Kaushik.
Let me tell my friend that he can definitely ask the compensations for the delayed period, which can be heavily compensated to him, where the EMIs can be compensated. But otherwise, loan is your personal loan.
Loan is your personal
and it is not part of your agreement.
Sushil Kaushik, I want to bring Sushil Kaushik in. Sushil also defends customers in the NCR region. Yeah. Sushil, you're hearing the conversation here. On one hand,
there's a very recent judgment that there's a very recent just 1 second. There's a very recent judgment that has been passed by the Supreme Court. This was the case of Mukut Deepak that was taken up by the Supreme Court. It was against Unitech, and the National Commission has awarded the payment of the EMIs by the builder for the time possession is handed over. That matter was taken up to the Supreme Court by the builder, and Supreme Court has specifically said that the EMI's burden cannot be placed upon the builder. As my learned friend just rightly said, that it's your responsibility to get the funds for the house. If you have borrowed it, then EMI is entirely your burden. And he is absolutely right in saying that you can have an alternative claim, like say you can go for a rent. You can say rent, but even that is a little difficult to ascertain, because that requires detailed evidence. Because what you will say is the rental value of which rental value. Suppose you may be residing in a palace and paying a rent of 2 lakh rupees. You won't get a reimbursement of that. That has to be a reasonable rent. Now that reasonable rent is the amount of the equated rental value of the house in which the Jaypee was supposed to provide you that. So then again that gets disputed, because you don't have any rent agreement pertaining to that particular project. So we have found a solution to that. What we say is, till the time your house is not handed over to you, let that money which the builder has collected from you be treated as a deposit with him. And deposits do attract interest, so you will get a compensation in form of interest at the rate of 12%. Now please understand this scenario. What generally happens, the amount that the builder is taking from you is not only for your house. There are many common facilities, like there has to be a security wall, the roads and other internal structuring and everything. So entire fixed cost, whatever fixed cost for this thing is required, that is calculated, that is appropriated in all the houses. So the value of the house, the cost of the house that you are required to pay is the amount of construction that is needed in your house, plus appropriation of the fixed cost in that.
All right, Sushil,
right?
I'm going to stop you there, because I mean it's fair to approach the courts.
In case if you have paid a sum of 50 lakh rupees.
Right, it's fair to approach the courts to ask for compensation. I also have a couple of people who've called us on the phone line who are also struggling with the same project. But
this is where I would like to interrupt. Just one second. This is where I would like to interrupt, because this is what I wanted to say. You have to be first clear that what exactly do you want from the court. Do you want the possession of your house, or do you want refund? Because you have to first ascertain the direction in which you want to approach.
Fair enough.
This is what I want to say.
My question to all of the three advocates on the panel is simply this. We've established, and the buyers have established, the fact that the Jaypee Group at this point has no money. The reason why construction has come to a grinding halt is because the company is completely in debt and they do not have the funds, they don't have the cash flow to finish the project. So even if tomorrow the consumer court awards compensation, awards interest, awards rent payment to any of these customers, imagine 35,000 customers getting, getting an award from the consumer court on compensation. How will a company that doesn't have the ability to complete the buildings that we're looking at on the screen right now, how will that company pay the compensation? We're just going to wind up driving this company further into debt and further into trouble. Where is the end to that, Uday Wavikar?
Directors are personally liable. They will go for 3 years imprisonment under section 27, and I don't think they'll be able to sit in jail. That is one. Second is their personal
But if they go to prison, Uday Wavikar, if they go to prison, then the home buyers, what happens to the home buyers?
See, the question is, the personal properties could be attached and auctioned. The question is, once they become the decree holder, even if the company goes into the liquidation, the decree holder will have the first priority to be paid. Otherwise, the employees' dues, the taxation dues, they will take away everything and nothing will remain for these buyers.
So it is very likely that this 58,250 crore rupees that's owed by the parent company, those lenders are possibly already in court.
There is other way out. The other way out is if the people form an association and think of taking over the entire project by an order of the court to develop
it themselves.
Yes, themselves with the financial assistance of various financial institutes, or taken and JV with other builder. That also is possible, but that possibility has to be done from the governmental authorities, including Chief Minister. Intervention is required even of the courts for that. This thing. There are provisions where Consumer Protection Act has given the project to the buyers to develop, but then such decision can come when there is a proper viability is done.
I also want to point out here, there are two markets in the NCR region that are suffering particularly. One is the Gurgaon market and the other one is the Noida market. We've seen a massive change and a lot of political intention in the Gurgaon market. There is a chief minister who regularly meets with the home buyers who are aggrieved. They have set up a special cell. We know that the authorities in Gurgaon are working with home buyers, they're working with the police, they're working with developers to try and see how they can possibly finish projects as quickly as possible. We have not seen any of that happen in Noida. We've not seen any of that political intention from the Uttar Pradesh government or the Chief Minister. I appeal to the government of Uttar Pradesh. In this particular case, if you're talking about 35,000 people, these are your citizens. This is a problem that you have to take a larger cognizance of. And this is a problem that you're going to have to step in as the government and find a solution to, because 35,000 citizens cannot be left like this to pay their EMIs and to suffer day after day. Anil Kumar is one such home buyer who's also called us right now. Anil, go ahead.
I first of all, I thank you, Magicbricks Now, to bring this show to the viewers who are the sufferers. And all the 35,000 viewers, I'm one of them who is a buyer. And I booked my apartment in 2011 and almost paid 95% upfront to Jaypee. But I was hearing one of Ashok that Jaypee has taken the permission only in 2013. And by 2013, I paid 95,000. So it's a case of cheating by Jaypee. And they are not coming out, and we cannot go and meet everybody there. They have barricaded their offices. Nobody is allowed to enter. They have police protection, plus they have their own guards, security guards. They are totally working under non-transparency, and it appears that something going on there which we do not know what's going on. And suddenly they will become bankrupt, or what will happen tomorrow. There is no transparency of their working. They are not telling anything, and we are left in lurch, and we are now grouped together. But really, it's very sad that a builder in the name of Jaypee has cheated people of the order of 35,000 in this manner. But one thing I want to say, that I was hearing the discussion of EMI and all, the money flow and the funds. But I don't believe that the Jaypee has lost all the money. They must have siphoned off this money to other accounts, which we do not know. That is one thing. This is normally the businessman tactics, that they take overdraft from the bank. They show some different kind of cost. They overdraft and they use a little one, and rest they just siphon off to some places. And our money, where it is going, whether it is going to other business or whether it is going to their pocket, I do not know.
I want to, Mohit Bhansali, I want to bring your attention to the fact that this is a fair point that Anil Kumar is making. Yes. We do, of course, know from the news that's being tracked from, our sister channel ET Now that tracks the stock market, that there are assets that both the parent company and the real estate company are holding in the NCR region. There are land parcels, that there are other assets that they are trying to liquidate at this point. What is the biggest risk that these customers, while they might not have cash flow and liquidity, there are assets that can be used to generate cash. What is the biggest risk that these buyers are running at this point? If the money is generated from the sale of an asset, how does the buyer make sure that that money finds its way into the stalled project?
Right. It's a valid point. Now, most important here, that even if we find out that there are the several properties available of the buyer and they are in the process of liquidating, what is the guarantee that they will invest that amount in the project? Because there are hurdles, like one sister company, parent company will say, I don't have the liability of the sister company, it's an individual entity. So in such circumstances, the best remedy, since this entire construction regime is highly unorganized, first of all, government must take war footing steps to organize it. The difficulty that 35,000 home buyers are out of their home, despite of payment of 95%, it's a big amount. And still 5% remains to be paid and the construction is not yet completed. So what are the remedies and how to? Government must intervene. Government must take over the project. And the builder must cooperate the government if they want to survive in the market. And they have to ensure, the government, that they will collect the remaining 5% from the flat buyers, and they will not allow the builders to sell or liquidate their remaining assets in proportionate with the remaining amount required for construction. And if that the government intervene and take these steps, all the problem will be sorted out.
So it comes down to whether
Apart
or
from
not
that,
Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav is willing to step up here and take a hard stand
It's
against
required
developers.
now. It's high time.
It's high time.
If you
Uday
see
Wavikar.
at the other project, other day we saw that the government is taking steps and they are making builders sit together. Other way is that they have to move now immediately to economic offences, so that all this siphoning of money can be investigated and brought back. Simultaneously, if they move to the consumer court, as I rightly said, they can freeze at least these buildings not to sell to anybody and siphon off the money. Thirdly, what is most important is even in consumer courts there is a redressal procedure called Lok Adalat, and if an arbitrator kind of the alternate dispute remedy coordinator judges are appointed, both the builders and buyers can sit together and work out a scheme. To believe here
But here we have a case, Uday Wavikar, where the builder is refusing to even meet the buyers.
That is how the government
there is
can intervene.
1 minute. Faye, there is a very famous saying which I always say, and I have loved it, and it has happened in 20 years of my practices. We litigate to mitigate.
So you're saying once you have an FIR in hand, the developer will be willing to sit down
bring him
with
on the
suddenly.
table, file on the consumer court case, get an interim relief. If it doesn't follow the interim relief, get him an arrest warrant done. He will definitely come round, and then you mitigate with an alternate dispute.
So here's my question. For these buyers who've actually gone to the police station and been sent home, saying this is not a real case, you go home, you sort it out with your developer, and I know there are several people watching across the country who's faced the same problem, and you walk away thinking that the developer obviously has more money, and as a result the police are on his side and not on my side. Now you just advised home buyers to go to the EOW, which is the Economic Offences Wing, which is a separate arm of the police that investigates the problems of companies that are siphoning money, economic offences, white collar crime is what we call it. If they approach the Economic Offences Wing, will they have better luck in getting an FIR? Will the Economic Offences Wing treat them differently than the local police?
They are more effective, far more effective. And if you go through the commissioner, the things can really move. Similarly, here also, if they approach the commissioner, I have said the procedure, police will have to accept an FIR. But somebody will have to move behind, including an political intervention there, local MLAs, etc. I think if you put the pressure from all sides, FIR will have to be accepted, which includes the media too, and I must congratulate Magicbricks for that, because you are the first one to take up such tasks. But it's a massive task unless there is a joint effort. Candlelight march, etc. You have to do 35,000 people walking with a candle march to the commissioner's office. Imagine, you think commissioner will have guts to say we will not take FIR?
Well, Uday Wavikar, I want you to also explain to these home buyers and to everybody listening at home that at least in the city of Mumbai, we've had some luck, where the courts have come out and actually asked for personal assets to be liquidated. Personal assets were attached, personal assets were liquidated, and home buyers were paid. Tell us about those cases. Tell us how it's not, once you go to court, and a lot of times people believe that if I go to court, I'm just going to wind up spending another 3-4 years with no hope. But there's actually hope now in the courts, isn't there?
Yes, there is. As Mohit has rightly pointed out, we did not delve on that aspect. Even if you write the Chief Justice of the local High Court saying that take a suo moto petition, write a suo moto petition to him to take up this matter as an writ of mandamus, I think he will definitely take it up suo moto and give there are judges, and High Court judges are very active, I've seen, where such a gross injustice has been done. They can take up and call the builder, call the financial institutions, try and see how this thing can be sorted out, and High Court has sweeping powers.
High Court has sweeping powers. And just to illustrate one more time, the sort of extent of the problem in this particular case, as an example for the government of UP and the people who run the city of Noida. I'm going to put on your screen a list of the projects that we've verified that are delayed of Jaypee. We have a list of 10 projects delayed 4 to 5 years. That's on your screen. Moon Court delayed 5 years. Pavilion Court delayed 5 years. Jaypee Aman in Noida 4 years. Cosmos 4 years. Classic PH2 delayed 4 years. Knights Court 3 years. Cube delayed 3 years. Casa Isles delayed 3 years. Casa Isles phase 2 delayed 2 years. And this is just a small list. This company has launched projects all over the city of Noida and Greater Noida. None of those projects have been handed over. As you can see on your screen, each of these projects has multiple home buyers who are all waiting, who are paying their EMIs, who are suffering right now. Again, I'm making an appeal to the government of Uttar Pradesh, to the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Mr. Akhilesh Yadav. It is time for you to take this more seriously. To the Commissioner in Noida of Police to take this more seriously, to issue a diktat to the rest of the police to take this more seriously. This is not something we can brush under the carpet anymore. It is a very, very serious problem. Sushil Kaushik, what is the best way for these home buyers to move forward and contact the government and get the government to sort of take cognizance of the extent of the problem?
See, as my senior colleague just said, that they should approach the police commissioner for the same. In case if the police commissioner also does not help them, then they have the recourse of the court. They can always move an application under section 156(3) of CRPC to get the matter adjudicated directly by a judicial officer, that is the judge. So perhaps this is exactly the right thing to do, because as such it can seriously be seen that a misappropriation is definitely there. They have collected a lot of money, 95% at least from each of them, and then the money is gone, their houses are not complete. So definitely they should go for an FIR also apart from the consumer case. So this is the right approach.
All right, go for an FIR apart from the consumer case. 35,000 home buyers have been waiting for years for their homes while they pay their EMIs and they pay rent, and they have absolutely no idea when their pain will end, because Jaypee has not spoken to them, has not given them any sort of an inclination as to when these homes will be finished. Remember, these people have been waiting for anywhere from 8 to 2 years, and that's what you're looking at on your screen right now. Homes that have not been completed all across Noida and Greater Noida. 35,000 home buyers. Alok Prasad is on the phone line from Delhi. He's one such home buyer. Alok, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. My question is a little different. Actually, I booked a home in Jaypee in Orchards in 2012.
Okay.
So the payment plan that I had taken, they offered something called a time link plan.
Okay.
So where you had to, that 95 lakhs was the cost of the flat. You had to pay that 20 lakhs every year in October. So I paid them the first 3 installments on time. I paid 62 lakhs out of the 93 lakhs, which is the cost. Now, after that, I realized that the construction is not happening in the project. When the last payment came up in October 2015, there was no construction happening for 18 months. So then I told them that please give me a refund because you're not able to construct. So to that, they said that, okay, if we give a refund, we'll deduct 10% of the project cost. As in, of 93 lakhs, they'll deduct 10 lakhs and then they'll give me the money. So then I was not sure on that. Now, I have been seeing and we know that, Jaypee is in such turmoil. So I have not made them the payment of the last 20 lakhs. The possession of the flat, the actual date is August 2016, which is next month. So now I don't know what to do.
No. Now you don't know what to do.
What to do?
There are two
because
questions.
Now they will start charging me. They will start claiming, I don't know, if they make the flat 1 year later, they might say that, you didn't pay that 20 lakhs, we will charge you 1% per month, penalty. So what happens to my 62 lakhs which I have paid? I mean, it's a little different from the questions that had come up. But I thought...
No, that's an excellent question. I mean, developers don't wait a day before they slap a fine on someone who has not paid their installment on time. But of course, there's no accountability for how long they keep you waiting and how long they keep you delayed. Sushil Kaushik, just a quick question. What advice would you give this buyer? He's withheld the 20 lakh rupees. About what impact will this have on his purchase? And will he be liable to pay an interest?
In case if he is still opting for the house, then definitely builder will be charging him the interest. So in case if there is any delay and if he is not interested in the house anymore, he can approach the National Consumer Forum for the refund of his 60 lakh rupees. But in case if he is interested in the possession of the house, then perhaps builder will definitely charge him interest. So he can just negotiate with the builder for something. Otherwise, as such, if he is going for the possession and there is a delay in possession, then he should also approach the National Forum for the delayed compensation. So perhaps that particular compensation and the amount of interest that the builder is charging, they might be set off. So that can perhaps be done. But first, again, he has to first decide whether he wants to go for the possession of the house, he wants to refund. In case if he's going for a refund, then he can actually go for a refund with entire amount, whatever he has paid.
Uday Wavikar, go ahead.
I differ, Sushil, to the extent that if you look at the Elmer De Silva's judgment passed by Honorable Justice Kantikar and Justice Malik, such interest which is charged by builder has been declared as not chargeable. Ab initio, though there is an agreement, it is considered to be, and what we call, Sushil, in the law is unconsignable agreement.
Okay, you know, Uday Wavikar, while we are on it,
therefore 54,000 rupees which Lodha was asking, Lodha was told that your completion of project was not done. There were specific provision of demand letters saying that give us the completion letters with the architect certificate, then only a buyer is liable to pay, and therefore this entire interest was waived. So therefore, if it is an unconscionable agreement which is opposed to the public policy, which means one side there is a builder who is mighty builder, there is other poor flat purchaser, the courts can come down and declare such clauses as an unfair
which court would you
clauses.
recommend he approaches, Uday Wavikar?
National Commission.
National Commission. You know, Mohit Bhansali, there's one point here that I don't want to miss out on. The buyer who called us said he was on a time-linked program. Now, it's always advisable for buyers to be on a construction-linked program where you pay based on whether or not that particular phase of construction is complete. Time-linked programs. Now, in Maharashtra, we have a law against this sort of thing. What happens in places like Noida, where the developer says, okay, you just pay me this much every year, so he might not be protected entirely as far as his contract is concerned?
Yeah, time and again I have explained to flat buyers what they understand by the time link. Now it's common, very unfair terms I must say, that in agreement you will find on completion of this slab you have to pay that, on completion of last slab you have to pay. But what is important to see, the completion of project. You are paying the cost in respect of the entire project, not in respect of that building only. Because the project includes the amenities, the common amenities which you have a right to enjoy. So the last payment is always included the amenities. The construction of a building, the structure is nothing but a portion of the entire project. Unless that the entire project is there, they are not liable to pay the entire amount. But the agreement on the contrary, they have that once the last slab is casted, they have to pay 90%, 95% and 100%.
In fact, this is worse. This doesn't even link
absolutely
it to,
worse.
It just says pay every year, pay based on time, not even on any sort of slabs. That should be completely avoided by any home buyer.
Yes, and this is how the court has time and again intervened and said the charges made and the ask by the builder is unconstitutional first. And it cannot be.
But I have Sunil is also on the phone line who wants to tell us something. Sunil, go ahead.
Yeah, so let me give you the background to the panel. These flats were given to us under something called subvention scheme. Subvention scheme was in joint collaboration with Axis Bank and HDFC Bank, where they said that first 2 years of the loan will be waived off either by the builder or the bank, so that we don't have to pay anything for first 2 years. And then, after 2 years, we have to pay the interest. So here it is a clear game of banks being involved with the builder. They have gained maximum out of our investment through them. So, I mean, here the liability of banks becomes the most, as what panel were telling us, that it's a personal loan. Yes, it's a personal loan, but it has been a bait has been given to us for 2 years by these guys, and they have roped in everybody, 35,000 buyers under the scheme. So it is why can't we stop our EMI and make banks liable for this?
Why can't we stop the EMI? That's an excellent, excellent question, because a lot of times, there used to be a time when we believed that if there is a large national bank that has pre-cleared loans on a particular project, that they have done a deep dive into the finances of that project and they've made sure it's viable, that we found out is no longer true, because so many of these projects are in the state that the Jaypee Greens project in Noida is in right now. Uday Wavikar, can these buyers stop paying their EMIs and inform the bank saying we're not going to pay any more EMIs because this is where the project is? Aren't banks fundamentally equally liable?
I agree with you. Fundamentally and equally they are liable.
Ethically at least.
Ethically, sure. But legally one has to see, because if the banks have offered the scheme along with the JP, guaranteeing that there is a loan scheme of the JP which bank will take over, this would have been possible. But if you have independently taken loans from the bank and you are saying that the bank's legal department did not do proper job, it is not correct.
No, but from what Sunil is telling us, Sunil's on the phone, he said there was a subvention scheme between two banks, HDFC and Axis, and the Jaypee Group. Now,
Yes.
a subvention scheme involves a tripartite agreement between buyer, bank and builder. So, can the bank not be made a party?
You are absolutely right. If it is a joint agreement and tri-party agreement, yes. They can say you are also equally responsible, make them opposite parties in the consumer court, take the leave of the court and say now we will not pay EMIs. Bank is also responsible for, because they are promoting these projects.
Sunil, have you signed such a contract that makes the bank a tripartite?
See, we have all the copies of the ad which they came out with in the newspaper.
No, your contract. See, unfortunately, and this I want to make very clear to all buyers watching across the country, ads mean nothing. The only thing that will hold up in a court of law is the contract you have signed between you and your buyer and the contract you have signed between you and your bank. Does your contract in any way also name the bank? Sunil?
Diversion scheme.
Yes.
Which was like first 2 years you don't have to pay installment of your loan. So it was in consent with the Jaypee Group and the banks.
Does it say so in your contract? Does it name the bank in your contract that you've signed with the developer as a buyer?
Absolutely. So the bank had given us we didn't pay for first 2 years. There was no interest on first 2 years. Our interest started from the third year.
Okay, so this is really interesting. Mohit, Uday, Wavikar, Sushil, whoever wants to come in on this. So basically, the bank has advertised this project along with the builder. So the bank should take a certain amount of responsibility. If you're holding the builder responsible for advertising a project that did not have its permissions, if you're holding the builder responsible for making promises to home buyers, and the bank was on all of those ads, the bank is equally responsible. Uday Wavikar.
I agree with you, because the bank has not only promoted the project for the builder, but bank has even lured customer by saying that first 2 years you don't have to pay the installments and we'll take it from JP. So it is becoming something like a joint venture, and therefore it is at least appears to be to the buyers who are gullible. Legally it may not be.
Who can make the argument saying that because it was such a large national bank endorsing this project, I went ahead and bought it?
Exactly, and they will be equally responsible. They must tie up their shoes, and I am with the buyer.
You're with the buyer. All right, we've run out of time on this show. I have to wrap it up, but I'm going to put it in a nutshell for buyers like Pankaj and Ashok and everybody else who called in, everyone who's aggrieved right now in Noida with a JP construction. First of all, you need to come together. The more of you that can come together for a class action suit, the more pressure we can put on the government, on the police, the more water you will hold. Of course, in High Court, we will help you do that if you want to. Get in touch with us. I'm going to put on your screen our phone number and our contact details. If you've bought something with the Jaypee Group and you need help or you need to come together, we'll aim to put you together and we'll make your case to both the police and the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh to take action. What you should be doing, approaching the Economic Offences Wing of the police and the Police Commissioner to file an FIR and put pressure on the developer to take you more seriously. You want to be taken more seriously than the rest of the people the developer has borrowed money from, because you want to be paid first. You want that money to arrive at your project before it goes anywhere else. You, of course, should be writing to the Chief Minister, and we will write to the Chief Minister on your behalf as well. And Uday Wavikar saying that if you approach, and you should approach, the National Commission of Consumer Court, approach it together as a large group, file a class action suit and make the banks party to it as well. Get in touch with us. Our contact details are on your screen. We're on the side of the home buyer here on this channel. Anything you need, we're here to help. Good night and thanks for watching.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Magicbricks Now. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magicbricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/Magicbricks Now.